I have a fun little exercise for you. I want you to create a super list using the class superList. Now in here, I want you to add code that allows us to have, just like we have a list in Python, allow us to access through index, through, well, any way that a regular list allows us to use it. But the only difference is that the superList is going to have a special dunder method. Let's say that when we do length, so when we define dunder length, we're going to modify it and we're going to have it return, no matter what, 1,000. Now, this may look easy because all we want to do is modify the length dunder here. But the question is, based on what you learned about inheritance, about object-oriented programming, instead of having to write every single dunder that we need to use on a list, how can we easily acquire the power that list already has and then just modify this length dunder? So remember, superList is going to be a list that we can create, we can instantiate like this, superList1. We're going to call superList, and it's going to allow us to do things like length, superList, and also access items in the superList or use superList one dot, let's say, append, and maybe append 5, and actually get superList1 5. All right, take it away from here, give it a go, pause the video because I'll give you the answer. So let's just implement this. We're going to have self in here, and we're only going to return, let's say, 1,000. So that when we call superList1, and let's comment this out, and I do length here, let's print it out, I should get 1,000. That's good. But I want the functionality of this. I want to be able to append to my superList. So let's run this and see what happens. I get an attribute error. superList object has no attribute append. Let's think about this. How can we acquire the powers that lists in Python already have? Well, we learned about inheritance, right? And all we have to do is just simply type list here. And now list becomes our parent class of superclass. So let's give this a go now. If I click run, all right, that seems to work. What if we want to access superList at index, well, not 5, at index of 0? If I click run, I get 1,000. Well, that's because we're not printing anything yet. So let's print here and click run. Check that out. We're able to have this superList, and we just extended the functionality of list. How cool is that? Now to double check, there's a fun little function that we have in Python, and it's called isSubclass. And here we say superList and list. If I click run, I get true. Because is superList a subclass of list? Yep, that's true. What about this? Is list a subclass of the base object? Yep, it's true. Remember, everything in Python is an object that inherits from the base object class. We then inherit some built-in list methods, and we're able to use all of that in our superList just by inheriting like this. Very, very cool. Now, for some of you, this might have been a simple exercise and you got it right away. If you didn't, don't worry. Now you know. Pretty cool, eh? I'll see you in the next one.